I'm Idiotech, and today we're going to take a look at The Witness. So I have played this game now for about an hour, and I've come to my conclusion on it. There are a number of problems this game has. It also does a number of things right. We're going to talk about each of those things as we get into this. This is not a full review. I have not completed all 600 plus puzzles this game has to offer, but I do have a pretty good impression of how this game is supposed to work and how it does work so far, and so let's get into it. So the first problem I have is the options menu. Now I'm not going to bang on about this for too long, but there's nothing here. We've got mouse speed and that's it. No audio options, no graphics options. Now there is an external graphics options menu. It's very basic. It has medium, low and high and VSync and full screen, and that's it. No resolution options, no anti-aliasing, no texture quality, nothing. In the top left-hand corner of the screen, you should be able to see the performance, my CPU, GPU usage, as well as my current frame rate. So you can keep an eye on that as we progress. But so far the game seems to run pretty well at 60 FPS on a GTX 980 at 1080p. Now another black mark against this game is the fact that it's telling me to use the A button right now. Now I do have my Xbox controller plugged in, but I'm using the mouse and keyboard. It's not recognizing that I'm doing that, and therefore it's giving me Xbox controller prompts. I hope they fix this in a patch. This is kind of a standard by now. On PC, most people have an Xbox controller. You should probably recognize whether they're using it or not. Anyway, so if we left click on this puzzle, you'll see that we can interact with it with our mouse. And I'm just dragging the mouse from left to right now. And basically I connect this dot to this sort of semicircle, and it opens the door. And that's our first puzzle. Let's move on to the second puzzle. If you don't know, by the way, this is a game about puzzle solving. It's also one of the most beautiful games I have seen in recent memory. It's a stunning game visually. The lighting in this game, the art style, there's a very minimalist, flat shaded art style, but the faceting they've used, just the direction of this visually is stunning. It's an absolutely stunning game, and when we get into the open world, you'll see a bit more of that. So we're going to move over here to the first puzzle, or the first real puzzle, I should say. So the goal here is to open this door. Once we've done that, we'll get into the open world. I'll run around, show you some of the other stuff available, and I'll give you my final thoughts and impressions on this title. So you'll see here we have a panel. It's connected to a wire. You're going to see this a lot in The Witness. It's basically all the game is. That's not meant to be disparaging in any way. It's just a fact. So we'll click on the puzzle. Now it's a maze. We have to get from this location to this location. Pretty simple. So once we've done that, you'll see this wire lights up, and we follow this wire around to the next part of the puzzle. Again, a maze. Now this game does get ever increasingly difficult when it comes to these puzzles. If you're looking for a relaxing puzzle solving game, this is not the game for you. It is a very complicated puzzle solver, and as you progress later into the game, you will become extremely frustrated no matter who you are. This game can be brutal in its difficulty. Okay, so we'll just move through here. We'll solve this puzzle. These are not too complicated. Obviously, they're some of the initial puzzles in the game. They shouldn't be. So that's opened up the first panel on this door, I think. Yes, so you can see there's these three black panels. And in order to gain access to the final puzzle, we have to unlock these two extra ones. So we follow these black wires. One of them is through here. Okay, here we go. Here's a puzzle. So we have to get this or this to here. Now the best way to do this I've found is to go from the end of the puzzle back to the beginning. So let's work our way around. No, that's not the correct direction. How do we do this one? Work our way around here, down here, down here, down here. Okay, so we do it from this side. We work our way up and around, down here, through here, and up to there. That lights up this cable. So we've done that part, and as you can see over there, it's unlocked another one of those black panels. Finally, we have to follow this wire through here, although it tricks you and tries to send you around the back of that building. In fact, you have to come around here into this room and solve one final puzzle. And to interact with these, by the way, again, I'm just left clicking. Okay, so we have to get from here to here. But in fact, in reality, what's going to happen is if we get from here to here, it's going to light up this cable, which doesn't help us right now. So what we need to do is work our way around here to this side, but not go there. Instead, work our way all the way down here to this one. And that will switch on the final cable we need to open that door. Now again, it's a beautiful looking game. let's get through to this section here, and then I'll give you some more thoughts and feelings on this title. So this is very simple. You just work your way down to here, and bam, the door is open. And we now have gained access to the open world. Now, this is not a linear experience. You can approach the puzzles in any way you want. You don't have to do them in a linear order, which is great. I appreciate that. And the game is stunning. Absolutely stunning. I did get a minor FPS drop there down to 58, which is probably not really acceptable given the fact that my GPU is not maxed out and my CPU is not maxed out, but it's probably to do with texture streaming or object streaming or something like that. Anyway, it's a gorgeous world. I mean, it's obviously subjective. It's an art style choice, but I love it personally, and I would love to spend time in this world. Problem is, the gameplay in this world I don't find to be particularly compelling. So, we've got some puzzles. Lots of puzzles, in fact. There are over 600 puzzles in this game. And they're all kind of the same. Now, not to say that each puzzle is the same in terms of its mechanics. I'll show you here. It's still a maze. But in this case, what we have to do is we have to make sure that if I just go straight to the end, it's going to say, nope, that was incorrect, and it's going to flash these things red. Now, some of the puzzles, I will say, are not particularly well explained. There's no tutorialization, you just kind of have to work it out for yourself. But basically, my line has to touch each of these dots. Then we move on to the next puzzle, and my line has to touch each of these dots. As you can see, not particularly complicated, but as we move through each of these panels, it gets more and more complex. I'm just going to back out of this one because you've seen that mechanic. Another mechanic on offer is over here. This is a slightly different way of approaching the puzzles. So this one's very simple, and it doesn't really explain what's going on. This one, if I just go around here, it's going to flash on these red and black, these white and black cubes here. What it wants you to do is it wants you to separate them so they no longer touch. That's the mechanic on offer here. So in order to do that, I just do this and this. Very simple. This and this and this. Okay, so you're getting the point. I have to separate the white from the black in this puzzle so they are no longer connected. Okay, so I'll back out of this one. Once you complete those two, by the way, nothing appreciable seems to happen as far as I can tell to this point. But that's the game. It truly is the game. And you may be thinking, oh, surely there's some other kind of puzzles. Well, after an hour of playing this game and progressing quite far, I've restarted the game, obviously, to show you this because I don't want to spoil some of the more complex puzzles in this game. It's really not all that complicated. It's just different takes on the same idea. Here we have two lines that we have to control. And that opens this door. And then we gain access to a new puzzle area. We can solve these puzzles. They're connected to this machine. You know, it's a bunch of panels connected to wires, connected to panels, connected to devices, whether they be laser beams or machines. That's all it is. That's what this game is. And it's surrounded by one of the most beautifully visualized worlds I have seen in a video game. It's gorgeous. It really is. The art team behind this should be incredibly proud of themselves. I hear there was an architect involved. You can tell. It's stunning visually. It truly, truly is. There's different kinds of biomes. You know, you go from like green lush areas through to desert areas. It's gorgeous. I can't commend them enough for the art on show here. Problem is, the game ultimately boils down to a bunch of panels connected to wires, connected to panels, connected to devices. And if you took all of this gorgeous artwork away, you'd be left with what is essentially an iOS game. I've played a game called Hook on Steam. It's not the same, it's not a maze, but it's a puzzle solving game. It's 2D, very similar, a bunch of 2D puzzles to solve. You progress from one to the next, and it costs 99 cents. If you just took the panel puzzles from this game and put them on an iPad, I'd expect to pay anywhere from between 99 cents to $5 for that experience. But when you're surrounded with this beautiful world, apparently that justifies a $40 price point. This world is not interactive. It doesn't have any kind of narrative as far as I can tell after playing for an hour and solving a significant portion of the puzzles in this game. And it doesn't serve the game. It's just a beautiful environment to host a series of quite bland puzzles. Now, depending on who you are, you may find those puzzles to be engaging. I don't. I find them challenging and somewhat frustrating, and it makes me feel like I'm back in school, and that's not what I'm looking for in a game. However, you may be looking for that. What I was looking for was something more akin to Myst, and that's not what this game offers, sadly. So, my final impressions are, It's a very, very beautiful iOS game, and without all of this artwork, it would nowhere near justify a $40 price point. And I'm not sure it will be getting the 10 out of 10s and the masterpiece comments that some of the major gaming press are giving it. That being said, if you're looking for a puzzle game in a beautiful world where you solve a bunch of puzzles on panels that are essentially mazes, then this game may be for you, but it's not for me, and I'm pretty sure it won't be for a lot of you out there. And I think it's a real shame because the artwork in this game is wonderful, and I would love to spend time in a world like this. I would love for there to be interactive elements in the world, for there to be environmental puzzle solving, not just a series of iOS games packed into a beautiful 3D world, which is how I feel this game is presenting itself right now. Now, obviously, this is just a first impressions. I've only played about an hour of this game so far. It may change later on, but after an hour of gameplay, I can sufficiently say that this game simply isn't for me. I don't think it warrants the price point. I think if you took all this beautiful art away from it, it would essentially become a cheap iOS game, and I can't recommend it as a result. Hopefully you found this video helpful or useful in some way. If you did, please let me know in the comments below. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you want to support the channel, please like, favorite, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.